He sold his last company for $370 million to Pure Storage. Before that, he sold the company to Dell and Citrix. I asked Gotham, how do you pick what idea to pursue?
I need to feel it viscerally, like it has to come from inside, and you got to motivate yourself that way. If you're really not feeling it from the inside, you're not going to do it. It's not going to be a good job. You can try and do it, and if you succeed, it's probably going to be because of luck. I don't do anything if I'm not just feeling it from the gut, because I know I'm going to fail.
Gut feeling. Now, what's the next tangible step that you do?
When I pick something up that I really want to do, then what I like to do is focus on, well, okay, I feel this way. Let's work backwards from the outcome. And I'm not going to let that outcome go. That is where I'm going to end up. And it may not be a straight line. It's either going to be that outcome or no outcome. I'm not going to move away from that target.
Time out. For the rest of the interview, you get to see him actually apply these principles and how they started his fourth company, Neubird. And finally, he closes with the two biggest AI trends that he's seeing. Quickly, I want to ask him, what are those things you look for in an early stage customer?
The most important customers to work with initially are design partners, are friendly people that want to see you win. It has to be a problem and a pain point for them where they're like, you know what? The best customers I've had are, they tell me, hey, Gu, look, you're probably going to have missteps, but that's okay. I'll work with you. I know your product isn't going to be perfect. You're building this, you're concocting things, you're making things up on the fly. Some of the things you say you may not actually currently have. I get it. Well, let's get there together. And you want to find enough of those people. That's the only way you're going to build this product. If you have a hostile customer that's going to always treat you like you're a vendor, I don't like what you're doing, and that's okay for them to do after you have delivered the product post maturity. In the initial stages, you're looking for people that are like, this is a big pain point for me. Let's go solve this.
So that's the theory. Now watch how he plays it out in practice with their new company, Neubird. They've already raised over $40 million from top VCs like Mayfield.
In our case, we're building an SRE agent, a site reliability engineer. For your audience, what this is one of the biggest problems in enterprise infrastructure is resolving issues in production applications. Come back to what we like doing best, data science. But we live in 2025, where there's Gen AI. So Vinod and I said, hang on a second. You have these models that people are using for ChatGPT. It's doing awesome. What about its reasoning? How is it generating this kind of content? Can you extract the reasoning capabilities in these models?
Things are starting to align in their head. They see the new solution. They see the main problem. They understand their strength as data scientists. But now they see the final big issue that most people have been missing.
Enterprises have too much data. The models have what's called a context window, and they have limited context windows. Okay? Context window is how much content you give it for it to reason with. And necessarily giving it too much isn't always better because there's noise in there. Okay? If you go to ChatGPT and you ask it 1,000 questions in one shot, you're going to get a mediocre response. If you give it a simple surgical question, you're going to get a much better response. The same concept here. For enterprises, the Achilles heel has always been they have too much data. And we are data scientists.
It's too much because we don't know the bad part.
You don't know the bad part. You don't know the noise. You've been collecting logs for days on end. There's too many sources of metrics, telemetry, sitting in all sorts of layers of the stack. The modern application stack is way too complex, right? And it should be, because it's doing complex things. What Neubird does is we've invented a data access layer, a telemetry access layer that can surgically extract exactly only the information that's needed to troubleshoot the issue at hand.
To help comprehend this, imagine a giant toy room with thousands of Legos, and there's one red Lego that you're trying to find in the middle of it. Instead of dumping out the whole room and looking through all of them equally, Neubird actually goes to the area where the Lego is and then uses GPT to help nail down the exact red one.
Because when you're solving a problem is this big. How do you solve it? You don't solve this big of a problem. You break it down into smaller problems. And you solve small steps at a time. You solve one part of the problem. You use that information to figure out how you're going to solve the next layer, and you use those two to figure out how you're going to solve the next. This chain of thought reasoning is what we use the LLMs to break the problem down into. And at each step along the way, we're surgically extracting the right amount of information needed.
From there, they make recommendations to solve it. Now, the final point, I wanted to hear where he thinks things are going in the next 10 years.
There are two important trends emerging in the agentic ecosystem: MCP, which allows for these models to interact with external data sources. And another one is, which I'm really excited about, is something called A2A, which is agent-to-agent communication. Where I'm going with this is, just like today in an enterprise, you don't find everybody called Gotham. You have other people from different backgrounds, diversity. So diversity matters in solving problems because they come with different schools of thought. They've been trained to solve problems different ways. Maybe they're focusing on different parts of a problem. So I think, at least in IT operations, there will be different kinds of agents that are deployed. Maybe some that are good in troubleshooting compute, maybe some that are better at networking, maybe security is an area on its own. And these agents will work together hand in hand, basically make enterprises a lot more efficient and the enterprise employees a lot more efficient so they can focus on more, the creative aspect of things, not necessarily the routine.
These are exciting times. More creativity for humans. I love it. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. This is a community that we're building to help founders hit product market fit, stay up to date with the recent trends that are happening, and also get funded faster by learning the insights from top VCs and entrepreneurs. Boom.